Hello and welcome to the stands of Ibrox. I'm a bit amazed that I'm on tonight because I wasn't really expecting it. It was a late minute thing. Certain events happened today, which we need to discuss, including the booing of Santa, which I thought was an absolute disgrace, and I think that needs to be sorted out as soon as possible. There's no need for that in a civil society. Tonight, I've got a special guest, and I've also got Scotty. So what I'll do is I'll start with Scott. Now, what I'll do tonight is I'm not going to be hosting because I'm going to pass it on to Scotty and he'll go through all the events of obviously today and what's going to happen tomorrow. Scott, thank you so much for coming on, mate. It's an absolute pleasure.
No problem at all. Thanks for having me.
All right. And then Scotty, mate, how are you feeling today, mate?
I'm pretty good today, Corey. Pretty good today. I think that's going to be. I think that's the pendulum well and truly swung now. We just need to take our games in hand in our stride, get business done, and hopefully we're top of the league for now to the end of the season.
Aye, well, two big important games after the cup, hopefully. Now, before we go and I pass it over to you, mate, there's been a dedication of a song from me, right? So I'd like to share this. So I'd like you all to put your fingers in your ears for the dulcet tones of myself and my latest. This is my main song from my latest album, right? So I hope you enjoy it. If you're gonna boo Santa, you're a Tim. If you're gonna boo Santa, you're a Tim. If you're gonna boo Santa, you're gonna boo Santa, you're a Tim. Over to you, Scotty.
Is that you got it all out your system now?
Aye, I needed to get that out of my system, mate. I mean, apologies for you, Scott. You were probably not ready for that, mate.
I didn't see that coming, no.
Right, so welcome, boys. Thanks for coming on last minute. I just felt as if me and Curry kind of shut up shop the other night without really talking about the Aberdeen game tomorrow. So obviously we're still trying to grow the pod. So smash the like button, subscribe away, etc., etc. Scott, first question I'm going to put to you. What do you think, not that we want to dwell on a Celtic result or anything like that today, but what do you think that does to Rangers now ahead of the cup final?
Do you know my first thought after Celtic's result? And this is like something bizarre. Why on earth did Michael Beale choose to counter-attack that Celtic team? That was my first thought after that game. After that result was, why did Michael Beale set off that Celtic team? It doesn't do anything to Rangers, and this is where people kind of need to realise Rangers, if Rangers play their own game, Rangers will be fine. Obviously Celtic losing today and losing last week and being, in all honesty, a bit of a shambles. Like, it's clear to see that, but Rangers need to focus on tomorrow. If Rangers don't win tomorrow, then they cannot look at the other side of the city and laugh, because that's another cup Rangers have thrown away. So focus on Rangers for tomorrow, would be my opinion. Obviously, it's for a Rangers fan, it would be nice if you win the cup and go into the game on the 30th with a bit of confidence. But until Rangers really make a statement, then I would be pessimistic. And I'm not usually pessimistic, but I'm here because Rangers just need to focus in their own game. But from where, I think me and you spoke about this, Scott, a couple of months ago. 7 points. Rangers were 7 points behind when Philippe Clement came in, and they were lucky it wasn't a lot more than that. So to be in that position where Rangers can realistically go top of the league if we win their 2 games in hand, it's massive. But the other side of it is keeping feet up firmly on the ground is firmly my opinion at the moment, because we've been here before. We've seen how this story works. So I'm still get Dubai in the back of my mind, thinking if they didn't go to Dubai, what would the story have been? So there's reasons to be optimistic. Like, Celtic are in a mess. There's no getting. You see that today with the crowd reaction, and as you say about Santa and things like that. The crowd are ready to turn on Brendan Rodgers, and they've been ready to turn for the minute he walked in. Let's be honest. The minute Brendan Rodgers got that job, I said to a lot of Celtic fans that I know, if results do not go Celtic's way, it will be 100% labelled on Brendan Rodgers because the fans still don't forgive him. So that is the kind of big picture at the moment. I don't think Celtic are in a good place. I think Rangers have the potential to be in a good place. Thursday was a classic example of that. Down to the bare bones, win a massive game. Build on that though. Don't go out and lose tomorrow. Because if you lose tomorrow, then it's just back one step forward, two steps back. So win tomorrow. I think there'll be a bit more optimism. But as of the moment, I would say keep firmly on the ground because we've seen this story before.
Aye, definitely true. I think you're going to be the level head. I think you're going to be level head.
Always am, mate.
Curry, on to you. That result today, obviously, that's Celtic's second defeat in a row now, right? What do you think it does for Rangers going forward in the league? Obviously, had a wee look at the fixtures before we come on. We've got St Johnstone at home. I think that's one of the games in hand. Motherwell away, Ross County at home, Celtic away, and Kelly at home. How many points would you be expecting out of them 5 matches?
15.
15.
Aye. I won't accept it. Well, I'll have no choice, but for me and for I think the majority of the Rangers fans, they'll expect to get 15. I watched the game today. There was like there's bugger all else in telly. I was like, let's watch it. Hopefully, maybe Hearts will get a draw, hold them a bit, and then they scored. I thought it was terrific. And then I forgot that. Is it Robertson? What's the guy who took the free kicks name? Kingsley. Sorry, Kingsley. What? Obviously, he's been watching Taverniers free kicks because that was an absolute screamer, and they struggled and they huffed and they puffed and they went after Hearts, but there was nothing they could do. I do my usual. I always check out the Twitter to see what they're saying, and I checked a couple of their pods out, and they are having a major meltdown. They're blaming everybody, the players, Rodgers, the board, next door neighbours, wee dogs, mammies, milkmans, dustmans, paperman's boy is getting the blame for this. They think they are starting to say that a couple of them are saying that the league's finished now if they don't get rid of Rodgers. Now, I thought Rodgers was a decent enough pick for them, but I just think it's Agent Rodgers now. He's got an axe to grind, and I wouldn't be surprised as if he's like he just a wee bit of payback. all in my mind though, my tinfoil hat. But it's the thing is we can have a laugh today and we can slag them off, and it's brilliant because that's what we do. But we need to keep our feet firmly on the ground. We've got major improvements we need to make during the winter for the transfers, and if we don't get it right, and Clement doesn't get it right, I don't want to see it. I think what Scott said is I don't want to see. We've seen this movie before, where we could take advantage and we haven't. Something I was thinking today actually, and it was the complete opposite when I was watching them. Is I think we are starting to look the way we were during 55. We weren't the greatest side, but we were a team. Mentality was right. We were playing as a team. We weren't playing as individuals. And I think slowly but surely, I think that's what Clement is bringing into the team. And especially for players that we thought were wiped out. I mean, you say there's 4 or 5 now that we were wanting out the door, and there's a couple of them that were thinking, do we need to get rid of them as soon as we thought they were? So we need to take advantage, mate. But realistically, I would say 13 points out of 15. Win every game, and even if we're at home, we're against them at home, so even a draw, we keep us 1 point above them. If we win, we're 4 points ahead of them, and that gives us a good base for the rest of the league.
Scott, quickly coming back on to you. To me, come on like last week, Derek McInnes has gave the rest of the teams in the league a kind of blueprint on how to play against Celtic. And obviously, Hearts went and attacked today. I don't think there was really any They didn't really camp in any time they seen an opportunity to go forward. I thought they'd done it really well. Just what's your thoughts on kind of Celtic for the rest of the season? Do you see them dropping more points? And also, did it kind of reaffirm your belief that Lon Shanklin scored again today against the Old Firm? Do you think it's an absolute must for Rangers to go out and sign him in January?
I don't know if it's necessarily it's an absolute must. I would say that type of striker is a must. Whether it's him, I don't know, because there is kind of someone who's known him for kind of seen him coming through. Lauren Shanklin played the year above me in Ayrshire, so I know him a wee bit. But I watch Lauren Shanklin as just a poacher. And you see that with the first goal today. It doesn't really necessarily. It doesn't need to do much. It just peels away. Celtic's defending from corners is atrocious, and they've lost a lot of goals this season for corners. So if you've got a striker like that who can peel away, Celtic don't really have an answer for it. The goalkeeper doesn't really want to come up his line. So somebody like Lauren Shanklin, yes. Whether it's him, I don't know, because I was having this discussion this morning actually with Miofsky. Can Rangers afford to gamble on paying a large sum of money for a guy like Lauren Shanklin, who you might get 2 or 3 seasons out of scoring goals? Or do you look at someone of a similar mould to Lauren Shanklin, which takes a bit of scouting, and go out and get somebody like that for maybe $1 million or 2 million cheaper, who's a lot younger? So that type of player, yes. Whether it's him, I'm not sure. Regarding Celtic, I think if Celtic don't win on the 30th of December, I think there will be calls for Rodgers' head. Because, as I say, they don't really. There's a group of the fan base who don't want him anyway. But losing to Rangers, on top of how they're feeling just now, would send a lot of them over the edge.
Right. I'd be inclined to agree with you. I think there's already this harmony.
They won't sack. They've no way they'll sack him, because they'll need to pay him off. They'll need to pay him 2.5 years. They won't do that.
No. Curry, over to you. What's your thoughts on Shanklin after the day? Have they changed anything? Seen him score at Parkhead?
I don't know. Obviously, Scott will know a lot more about Lawrence than I do. We've discussed this before, mate. I've been keeping an eye on him for he was at Ayr, and that's when I think we should have got him. I watched him today. He got a good goal. As Scott said, I see him as a poacher as well. He's holding up with the ball. I don't think was that great, and I was actually watching it and thinking he's not doing anything Dessers wouldn't be able to do. To be perfectly honest, because I thought he was quite wasteful for the ball some of the times that he was up front. Because once they got the goals, I think Hearts basically did to me part the bus a wee bit. They did still try and catch them in the break, but as soon as they got the 2 goals, that was it. They were like, "Aye, that'll do us. We don't need to get any more." But that's typical Naismith. That's what he does in games. He's done that. I think he done that against us. I know one of the games. So I don't know, mate. I think because I've always liked him, and I think he would do well. But is he a necessity? No, because I think the money that Hearts will want, we could get a better striker for the same price. Because they were talking about the amount of money they go. I think it was like 80 million. They've got obviously that's no all profit, but their revenue was 80 million. So they're in no desperation to get rid of players. They've already said we don't need to get. Obviously that's a bit of bravado because they want to get top dollar. But I really do think that they'll be offered about 5 million. Wanting 5 million plus. If Rangers turn around and say, or we'll offer you 1 million, because how much Shanklin loves Rangers, he maybe force the bid to leave and maybe get it to be a bit cheaper. But what Paul's saying there, I hope you don't mind me, I'm going off that wee bit. What Paul said there, I'd be interested what you two think about that. Because I actually thought Cochrane I thought he was the man of the match in that game. But I don't know him that well. Is that what he usually does?
Scott, I'll let you take that one.
I thought today I thought Celtic's right side today was horrendous, in all honesty. I don't think he had to beat his best to do it. he's a good player. The one thing that we can say about Cochrane is he is very rash in the tackle. Like I've seen a lot of times when he's at Hearts where he would just like. I think I'll be astonished if there's a Hearts player who's not got as many bookings in the entire season because he makes so many rash tackles. That'd be my one concern with him. Left back's a position I've said, Scott, I'm not going to mention Borna too much, but left back's a position I've been desperate for Rangers to address for a long, long time because Rangers have, a lot of teams have figured the left side out. You don't really need to do much to beat Borna Barisic. I would think Rangers need to look at a similar type to the old Borna, as I call him. I don't think Cochrane fits that bill because I think Rangers still rely a lot on crosses, and I don't think Cochrane's a brilliant crosser. So I would say, I wouldn't look at. He's a good player, don't get me wrong, but I would just for Rangers, I would worry about his temperament. I would worry about is he the right type of fullback for Clement as well, because I do think Clement just kind of analysing him a little bit wants fullbacks who can cross the ball. So I would say I'd be very surprised if that's the type of player Rangers were looking at.
For me, I don't think Harry Cochrane's good enough, to be brutally honest with you, Corey. I think he's seen him when I thought McCausland did a really good game against him at Tynecastle last week. And no, that's not me taking anything away from McCausland's ability at all. But that's essentially a young boy that's tore up left back, Hearts left back, a new one. I don't think there would be much in that, to be honest with you. I think the boy Owen Beck for Dundee that's on loan for Liverpool just now could be worth a shout.
Sorry, mate, as I was saying, it was just that somebody brought it up. It was Paul that brought it up in chat, and as I said, I was impressed with him the day, but I don't know enough of it. I've not kept an eye on him to see how good he really is overall. So that's how I thought maybe you guys maybe know a bit more than I do. Well, obviously you know a lot more than me.
I quickly want to touch upon January. Scott, we'll come to you first. What's Rangers' priority in the transfer market in January? Who leaves for you and who goes? And who comes in?
I'm not sure many will leave. I think you might see a couple maybe kind of fringe players like maybe Dill on loan or something. Now I've been sort of give Dill a chance. Like I don't know what the situation is, if he's injured, if he's just not fancied. I don't mind. He's played something 10 minutes under Clement, so I'm not sure what the situation is there, but I'm not sure. I'd be surprised if you might see 2 or 3. I don't think, especially now, the injuries are just so bad, and a few of them seem to be long-term injuries. So I would say I'd be surprised if. I think you might see. I've heard that. Obviously, we've all heard about the possibility Dill, Dessers, and Yilmaz have been told to find a new club. I don't know if that's true. I can certainly see Dessers having a part to play now because Danilo's injury. I think if Danilo was fit, maybe a different story. Outgoings, I don't see much happening, to be honest. You might see a loan for like a Divine or something like that. I don't see much happening, to be honest, in outgoings.
Right, okay. What about coming in? Because we've been linked to a boy Connor Barron at Aberdeen. I've heard myself that deal's a good bit down the line.
I think he's changed agent. I think that was it. I think he's changed agent or something. So that mentions to me that he's obviously. I think his contract's up in the summer.
Right.
I could see that. Again, somebody like that. I've always been quite impressed with Connor Barron. Again, he's finding it. As what the situation is, I don't know, because that midfield 3 Aberdeen seems to be quite solid. The McGrath, Shinnie, and Clarkson. So if he wasn't getting in, if he's not getting in that would worry me a wee bit. But again, he's an up and coming talent. I think in terms of kind of getting young Scottish players in, ticks a lot of boxes. In terms of incomings, I've said Rangers need a striker. Rangers need a 30-goal a season striker because there's so many occasions where, and Aberdeen away is a perfect example, Rangers have made so many chances but just did not have somebody there to finish them off. So that would be a position. Midfield, somebody just to really take the load off Lundstrom a wee bit, I think, because I think Lundstrom, he's been run into the ground this season, to be honest. I can see that already happening. He's been good, to be fair. He's really picked up under Clement. but I can see him being overrun because of how many games he's playing, and he's playing them constantly. He's having to cover two positions as well. I think Sunday will be another example of that. He'll probably go with Sterling, but I'd say a midfielder striker, and I'm always of the opinion left back or centre back, fix that position. That position should have been fixed in the summer. That disgraceful manager in the summer didn't address that, and then had the cheek to say that he was looking at one, then changed his mind. So that should have been addressed. So I think you might see. I don't think it'll be a quiet January, but I think it'll be maybe an early couple of signings, look towards the future, get a bit of solidity in the squad, and look towards the summer. I think there's obviously. I'll be very surprised if maybe Lundstrom will get a new contract. I don't think any of the other players out of contract in the summer will get extensions. They shouldn't, to be honest. Not many of them. Lundstrom's probably the only one I would say that I would keep. But
do you think Borna Barisic should get sold in January? There's a lot of uncertainty over left back position.
100%. He should have been sold 2 years ago.
Something back for him, or do you let him?
No, he should have been sold 2 years ago. I would get rid of him. To be honest, and I'm not just saying this because I'm very critical of him. He is not the same player he was even 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So move him on. Yilmaz, I'm not fully convinced yet, and I don't think Clement is as well. If Yilmaz was in and really making a mark, then yes, I would say give Yilmaz a try. But I just think a couple of times, like Shankland leaped over him with ease for that goal against Hearts a couple of months ago. So yeah, I mean, I would have sold Borna Barisic. I've said this to everybody that I've spoke to about Borna Barisic. The minute he get his ASS handed to him by Lee Labada, he should have been sacked then and there, because that should never happen to a Rangers player. And then it happens again 6 months later at Parkhead. So yeah, I would get rid of him. And he's not. You're going to get. He's a Croatian international. He's still got useful assets. He's still a very good crosser. Still serviceable for a decent club. So if you get 2 million for him, I'd say that's a good bit of business.
Right, 100%. What about you, Curry? What's your thoughts on January? What do we need?
I don't really know, mate. We've got that many positions that probably need strengthened now. I don't think we'll get anybody unless we shift anybody out. The main ones we're hoping for is maybe Scott was saying, Borna Barisic. Borna Barisic has got a sweet cross, but he doesn't offer much else. I thought he did really well in the game during the week. I thought he did really well. I never said for fuck's sake Borna Barisic once, but says no like me. I think up front, I think we definitely need somebody. As Scott said, if it wasn't for Danilo getting injured, Dessers would even be playing now. We wouldn't know that he could score a goal like he did on Thursday. That was like, we thought we'd get a different player in. It was a tremendous goal. It was well taken and it was well struck, and it was that good that even the UEFA website was using it. So it must have been a good goal. I just want. But somebody said, I can't remember, I think it was Paul said this. I'm sorry, Paul, I can't find it in the chat, mate. I'm so sorry. But he said something that was well, we bring in players that he's worked with. There must be, in my mind, there must be some players out there that he's said to the board before when he came in. Right. See, in January, I want them in.
Right.
So I'm not necessarily a fan of that. I understand why people think that, but it's no like I want this director of football recruitment coming in. I want to be linked with players from everywhere. I don't want to just be he's worked with Clement 6 years ago. That was the problem with Beale. Beale openly said that he wanted to sign Sam Lammers for 4 years in the back of a reserve game. That's no. I don't want that. Do you know what I mean? I want to. That's why certain clubs do so well, is because they have a thorough scouting process. I want to see Rangers being linked with a player from Serbia, for example, and have no connection to the manager, or he played with Raskin 7 years ago on a youth side. I want to see this player linked because his stats are good. He fits the bill. I think it's lazy, to be honest. I would say that's a bit lazy. I can understand to a degree bringing players in, like, again, if he really puts his trust in a player who's done him a service before, I understand that, but I don't. I think Rangers and a lot of clubs need to get away from that model of because he was good 3 years ago for me. 3 years ago,
I didn't mean it like that, mate. I meant that players that he maybe he don't work with. It's no that like this Bill mentality. I worked with him 6 years ago and he was brilliant then, so I want to bring him in now. It's no that. I'm talking about there must be players that he's had in his mind where he's already assessed over the course of the last
that's fair
7 weeks
enough.
he's been here, and he's went right. I need this position filled. I know a guy. And I've seen him that could fit the position and the way I want to play. I want him and tell the board that. I'm not talking.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about.
Yeah, well, that's one of the reasons he's like with Shankland as well, is because I think this is fairly known that Clement had Shankland watch when he was at Club Brugge. But I think that's well documented. So I can understand that connection, but I can understand as well where you're getting at. But where I'm kind of thinking is, I don't know if that necessarily works a lot. I think he needs, like, if he's went straight in there and said, right, we need to fill this position and I've got the player to do it. If he still thinks that, then what does that really say about the situation at the moment? He needs to be looking at this week to week and go, right, I've got a list of 10 players here. Because a lot of the time, and I've noticed this in the past few years, the same names seem to be coming to the boil with transfers. Like Rangers were linked with Dessers a while ago. Rangers were linked with Raskin was mentioned a year before he came in. Now they're not all necessarily bad signings, but I want to see a thorough scouting process, and that's one of the reasons why I'm quite excited about the recruitment side, the new recruitment team. Is let's see a different form of analysing players. Let's not see a Rangers scout down at an English game every week looking at a player that he's been looking at for 2 years. What does that tell you?
Totally agree, mate. Totally agree with you, Scott.
That's kind of where I'm getting at. But I do see all sides of it. I think Clement will look at it and go, and every manager does this, to be fair, and Beale did this at the start as well. Beale was talking about, I want to have my own. I mean, there was talk that he wanted a player from QPR in last January. I think that player was Clark Salter or something like that. And I can understand why managers do it, but also it doesn't need to be the be-all and end-all. I mean, you can just look at the data, look at what services are there now, and you can get a lot better players. You can use a scouting process, and it might actually work. And the way Rangers have been doing it for the past 7, 8 years has been diabolical. Rangers recruitment for a solid period of time, with the exception of a few, has been horrendous. So they need to try something different. So I'm no one for, right, let's get the manager to look at these players and go the players he's had 4 or 5 years ago and right, he can fill a job. I want to see a different approach. And that's why I'm quite excited about Clement, because I've already got the vibe that he thinks this club's a bit broken, this club's a bit of a shambles. I can play a part in fixing this. And I'm quite excited about the next few months, because I think there is a different approach in the football side of it.
I'm actually really happy we've got the guy coming in for Brighton. I know he's more kind of medical related, but the fact that the board are looking down that, are going kind of down that route is really good to me. We're broadening our horizons. Clement spoke about using facilities that hadn't been getting used.
Right. Could I interrupt you, Scott?
Aye.
Scott, sorry, my man. I really do apologise. Could I interrupt you, please?
Mm-hmm. Aye,
right.
Go for it.
I just nearly died of a heart attack there. Now, I'm about to introduce a new guest, right? And this person is responsible, ultimately, for this pod actually starting up. So, I want you to hopefully all say hiya and welcome to the world famous and sexy Mr. Colin from the Gallant Few. Hi there, buddy. How you doing, you mental case?
Good to be on, Curry. I don't know if it's people should be praising me for starting. I kind of liken myself to the creator of Skynet. Like, I've created this find it should be
creating a
nice and
fucking
healthy.
monster. Aye.
Creating a fucking
You have
monster.
to half, mate.
This is the people at the Terminator films. Really sorry I'm late. I seen Scott's message come through at 5 minutes to 9, and I was just about to start driving, and he said previewing the game tomorrow, and I've read that as we're doing the pod tomorrow. I'm got brilliant. We'll start my day off, talk about the Rangers, predict a comfortable win over Aberdeen, but it turns out he meant tonight. So sorry I'm late. Hi to both the Scots as well.
It's absolutely fine, mate. Well, actually, this is what happened tonight. About 20 minutes before it actually started, Scotty sent me a text. He says, "Right, we did on the night," and it was like night, and I went, "Oh, it's tomorrow night." He went, "No, tonight." I'm like, "I'm not even bloody ready. I've not set anything up yet." He's like, "Come on, we need to do something because of the result of the day." I was like, "Do you want to know something?" Aye, because they're due a wind up. I said, "I want to come in and enjoy," and he told me that Scott was coming on. I was, "Yes." He goes, "I've got a special guest." Then I get you sexy bugger. Oh, by the way, before I pass it back on to Scotty, because obviously he's doing the major stuff tonight. Your wee pod you did today with oh god, I forgot his name already.
With Scott Kyle.
Scott Kyle. That's another Scott. Aye, with Scott Kyle.
Aye,
do you want to tell the everybody that's watching about that and
aye,
give
for
them a wee
everybody
link
that doesn't
there,
know,
please?
MD that doesn't know, Scott Kyle's the main actor behind the play I'm No Billy, He's a Tim, and he's also been in stuff like Outlander and that. Got in touch with him a few weeks ago. He's actually from the same neck of woods as me. He grew up around the corner, and we got chatting. Basically, listeners of the pod will know I've grew up with a mixed family, siblings that are Tims and that for my sins, and so is he, and that's how we go in it. So it was just a good old chat about growing up as a Rangers fan. And Rutherglen and his involvement and how he started as an actor as well. So that's available for the members on YouTube and Patreon. So cheers for that, Craddy.
No bother at all, mate. So I'm going to pass it on to Scotty. Wait a minute, you've got Tim's family. Get out. Don't want your sort here. That's shocking. No, right, on to you, Scotty. I'll pass it back over to you. Sorry, bud.
Colin, I'll just bring in on kind of what we've been talking about. We had a wee chat about how a result today could potentially affect Celtic's season. Spoke about, I think last week, Derek McInnes said he's gave the rest of the league a blueprint now on how to play against Celtic. Scott McPike also says that the result made him a wee bit angry today because Michael Beale didn't press Celtic at Ibrox. What's your thoughts? What kind of boost can that give Rangers? Can you see more points getting dropped? Can you maybe see us taking the lead? Are you kind of level-headed on the subject as well?
I think we need to be level-headed because we've seen this story before. We've seen Celtic not being quite at their best, and don't get me wrong, I think this is probably the worst Celtic I've been the last couple of years, but we've had the glimmers of hope the last few years. But it's all about what Rangers do, as cliche as that sounds. It's not going to be the old firms that win the league. It'll be every other game. Having said that, Rangers need to stop bottling the opportunity to close the gap. It was a big laughing joke last week when Celtic dropped points and Rangers had already won their points because what a Sunday. Celtic dropped points and Rangers only playing after them to lose it. Rangers need to get over that hurdle, and regardless what Celtic do, only Rangers can do that. And it's not been a talent thing. It's not been. It's been an attitude thing, mentality, whatever you want to call it. We've not had the bravery to go and take these opportunities. So we've got our first game in hand on Wednesday. We'll wait and see how we turn the corner there. Because for me, it'd be the most Rangers thing that we actually win tomorrow. But when we've got the chance to close the gap in the league, we maybe slip up or we take it for granted. So I'm going to hold judgment until Wednesday.
Cool. The other thing we touched upon was January. Just a kind of quick, brief summary. We had a chat about Lawrence Shankland. I know you're not a big fan of Lawrence Shankland. I don't think you're keen on the idea of him signing. He's been out today and scored at Celtic Park. He's scoring goals. He's scored goals in Europe. He's playing out his skin. You changed your opinion at all? Potentially getting him in January.
I think Fuck, we need a striker, man. I'm not convinced Cyril Dessers is Messi incarnated just yet, and I do think there's every chance that'll be the last time we see Kane Ruth this year, because it's just what he does. Lawrence Shankland, I would take him at Rangers, and I think I said this a few weeks ago. I just wouldn't pay the money that I think Hearts would want for him, and I reckon Hearts, and rightly so, Hearts probably want in the region of 34 million for him. I don't think we can justify that on a striker who's got to play second fiddle to Danilo, personally. And I know there's the argument that Danilo's not injured. I think we need better than Shankland to push Danilo for the first striker spot. I think we need somebody more rounded. If you were to say to me, Scott, Shankland for £2 million, bite your hand off. Somebody who can come in and play the Cholak role. That's what we paid for Cholak. Cholak, we got value for money there. I wouldn't trust Cholak in the big games away to Parkhead. I wouldn't trust Shankland away to Parkhead playing that on his own. So that's kind of sitting in the fence a wee bit there.
I'm going to see just a quick one, Colin, while I've got you here. See if Rangers had still had Cholak and Sakala, what would the gap be in the league?
I think we would be, because he's in 6 points. I do think Cholak and Sakala, when they fix all the problems that we've got, but they would have gave us options when we much needed them. I don't think you lose either of the Aberdeen games. I totally agree with you. I think Cholak has composure in front of the goal, while Sakala has the energy that we've been missing so much. I think we're probably 2 points off Celtic, maybe even level.
Right, okay. Right, quick, I'm going to give in the room on this one, right? Just quickly, last bit on Shankland. This is a yes or no. 2 million in Alex Lowry included the deal. Scott, I'm going to come to you first. Is that a deal?
Deal.
Why would you get Lowry away?
Because I don't think he's ever going to get into the Rangers side. Now that's not a knock on him, but I just don't see how he's getting in, to be honest. And I think in terms of here and now, Shankland is the far better option there. If you're asking, do I think Alex Lowry is going to be a top player? A couple of years ago, I'd have said yes, but hearing things, and he's not really went to Hearts and kicked on massively like you would think. So I would say that's probably a deal. Stephen Mulhern there asking the deal or no deal question.
My main concern about the deal is if I would be inclined to take it, but my main concern is Hearts get Lowry sorted out, beginning first team football, and then they get a big fee for him. That's my main concern. Colin, would you think?
You've got to sell. If you have a sell on, then I think.
Aye, but see if it's a part exchange. I'm meaning like if it's part of the Shankland deal, it's 2 million plus Lowry.
No,
I think that's the only realistic way we're going to get Shankland in January. What about you, Colin?
You've kind of taken the words out of my mouth here. If we do move Lowry on, whether it's part of a Shankland deal or whether it's just if he moves to a club down south for whatever reason, I think we should be looking at a buyback option. I do agree with Scott McPike where he's probably had a wee bit of the Kai Kennedys about him, where there was a lot of hype, and over the last couple of years he's not quite lived up to that hype. And it's not an easy thing to do with the way that we hype up Rangers players. I do think there still is ability there. There's probably a bit of creativity in Alex Lowry that we've not seen come through the Rangers Academy in a long, long time. He does have to harness that into producing in the first team pitch. So I do think it might be a John Fleck syndrome where 5-6 years' time he might move into a great player. So I'd say 2 million for Shankland and Alex Lowry with the first option and a buyback for a decent price.
Or maybe a sell-on clause or something. Curry, what about you? What's your thoughts? Somebody comes to you and says, "Gives Alex Lowry the Shankland plus 2 million." Take it.
Well, you asked me that question the other day there, mate, and I've actually changed my mind. I remember I said, I don't know, 50-50. I need to be controversial here. I'm going to disagree with the guys. No, because I think Lowry's probably worth 2.5 million himself. It's going to cost us 2.5 million plus Lowry. That's 5 million. Shanklin's not worth 5 million. We could get better in. We could get a better striker in. I think anyway, we could get better strikers in for 5 million than Lawrence Shanklin. The now, if it'd been years ago, as I said, but no, the now. But somebody said in the chat there, I agree. I think that Miofsky would be a better fit in Rangers. I think he'd fit into the Rangers side better than Shanklin would, because but Miofsky's more, he can play up as a one striker. I don't think Shanklin does that, and he proved it today. He's good at poaching. He did that header he did today was the exact same goal he scored against Rangers. It was the exact same, except there was 2 men that he managed to get to be pulled back for. The last time it was only Yilmaz he had to deal with, and Christ, Manny Santaels could Timmy out jump Yilmaz, unfortunately, although he's a good player, but he's just not tall enough for that position, unfortunately. It's a no for me, mate. If we could get Shanklin for a decent price, I'd want him in, but he's not my first option.
Cool. If we hadn't sold Colak, we wouldn't even be speaking about Lawrence Shanklin just now.
Don't start me. I already, me and Colin have had words with this before about this with Tony Goals. I love the guy, and when he get moved on, when him and Fashion get sold on, I was so mad, and it shows you how much. And then obviously we're talking about Timmy Fashion. We're finding out what happened with Fashion with Beale. He had an interview. I can't remember who it was with.
If it was Jack in the Rangers Review.
If it was was it right with the Rangers Review? And when I heard that, that sent me on the edge. I'm glad he's away, and I feel sorry for Sunderland. I was talking to a couple of boys today in a Sunderland pod. They were playing, I think it was Bristol they were playing today. Unfortunately, they lost 1-0 with a penalty. But I was talking to them, and I said to them, I goes, listen, if you want an inside the Beale, I'll let you know. But I'll tell you what, you're just downgraded from Mowbray, and that's a statement in itself.
Right. No, it's true. That's the thing. See the thing with what bugs me about Colak and Sakala. I don't have a problem with selling Colak and Sakala, but you find somebody a better version of them.
Totally agree, Scott.
Fashion Sakala hasn't been replaced. Antonio Colak, I don't see Dessler's been an upgrade in Colak in terms of goals. Danilo, I think the jury's still out. The Sakala one's a frustrating one, because how can you look at Fashion Sakala and want to bomb him out of a dressing room? That will baffle me for the rest of my days, how that is what Beale has done. Like, I think Michael Beale is the worst manager Rangers have ever had. Just his personality, honestly, just his personality.
Worse than Kickshinya?
Like, yes, because at least Kickshinya's a nice guy.
By far.
Not in terms of, like, obviously, like, I think there's probably a debate we could have in terms of who's worse, like Gwen, Kishinya and Beale. Beale just gets lower and lower in my opinion every day, because I'm hearing stories about, like, saying to Graham Souness, "No, I don't need somebody to help me with recruitment." Who do you think you are? Do you know what I mean? You were a coach under Steven Gerrard when the Rangers won the league, and you think you deserve everything. And the signings he's made in the summer baffles me what Sunderland are thinking. But that's what I say about scouting. Looking at his track record and going, even at QPR, he had a good spell at QPR, turned down a Premier League job, and then went to Rangers, and then come up here, sat in the director's box while Gio was a manager under severe pressure. What does that say about the guy's character?
Right.
Like, just a shocking individual. I'm actually ashamed he managed Rangers. Like, I just don't like him at all.
I need to agree with you there, Scott. See everything you said there, mate. I need to agree with everything. See the more and more that we're hearing now for ex-players and what's been happening and what happened with Beale, the more and more mad that I get. I was mad at myself. When I was used to do the Gallant Few, I think Colin can correct me if I'm wrong, but I was one of the first ones to start ranting and raving at Beale and coining the phrase, "He's nothing but a second car hand fucking salesman." He talks a good game, but that's it. And he came into your club, giving it all the Billy Big Boys, and he left. He left our club in a shambles, and all I can do, and it's not very often I'm going to say this, and I hope that they're listening, and obviously they will be watching, because Ranger Board will definitely watch the best pod, or second best, or third best in the whole of YouTube. That the best thing that they ever did was get Philip Clement in, because he has altered and changed our club mentality to where it should be. It's a winning side.
Right.
They want to go out there, and that's all he thinks about is win. We don't want second best. That's not in our mentality, and that's what we've needed. It took us 3 years with Steven Gerrard to get the club into a position where we could get a title. We eventually, with the same side, Gio managed to get us into a European Cup final, which is no mean feat at all. There was a survey, a chart from the Swiss footballing board with statistics, and Rangers are the third best coefficient side in the last 5 years. Now, considering the fucking state that we were in when we were in 8th in the Champions League and the absolutely drubbings we took, I think that's. Imagine if we had managed to even get a couple of points in that. We would be sitting above. I think it was PSG and sorry, I can't remember the other team.
I think Real Madrid topped it.
Real Madrid, aye, PSG and Real Madrid. We would have been above them if we had get one draw and one win. So the board, I'm going to thank for bringing Clement in, because I think I like the Rangers fans. I don't know what you guys will think, but he's been an absolute godsend to us, and the way things are going with that mob, I think there's a good chance. I know, touch wood and all the usual voodoo stuff. I think that we might actually get at least a minimum of the double this season.
Brings us on to our next topic then, boys. Before we get properly into preview for Game tomorrow, Scott, Cyril Dessers, Sam Lammers, how did they play the other night? Me and you have spoke about these two guys until we're blue in the face. Was there an improvement in them at all on Thursday? There was obviously Dessers, but it's Mel Lammers that question was aimed at.
Yes and no. I thought the at times there was some neat touches. Again, I just think he always seems to play a stand-up game. Not massively with Lammers. Dessers I thought was a lot better. I think the game on Thursday actually suited Dessers, because there was a lot of space in the Betis defence, so he was able to hold the ball up. He did get time in the ball. I don't think he got caught offside once. I think so. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think he got caught offside once, Dessers, which is remarkable considering that seems to be what he's done since he's come in. Lammers, I just don't see what he offers. I still don't see, and he had to play the other night because there was nobody else there, but I still don't see what he's bringing to that Rangers side. I really hope Cantwell's fit tomorrow, because I think Lammers been in there worries me a lot, because I can just see it comes 40 yards deep, and this is something that we've kind of assessed. It comes 40 yards deep and seems to not do much with the ball. Like he'll pirouette 4 or 5 times, and then he'll give the ball away. I'm just thinking, what? Are you been told to do that? Is that all you can do? I just some degrees, I think. But aye,
that was my dog. Whose dog was that?
It's mine.
Brilliant.
I think I thought Dessers the other night was fine. Lammers just, again, I still just have worries, like, what are you actually doing? and we spoke about this, I remember me and Colin had this conversation a wee while ago. Lammers was brilliant in the pre-season friendlies, but that's when the games were not intense. See, when there was a bit of a competitive edge, Lammers was found out. And apart from the goal against Dundee, I think you can count in one hand the positive contribution Sam Lammers has made. Again, though, this is what I'm going about scouting. Sam Lammers has done the same thing the last 3 years at every club he's been at. So we can't say we've only warned. So again, just leads.
Can Cyril Dessers see his next 5 matches in the league? Obviously, St Johnstone, Motherwell, Ross County, Celtic, and Kelly. Can we rely on Dessers? Has he gave you any more hope? You're kind of you've sat on the fence kind of with Curry on Cyril Dessers. You've always gave him a chance. You've always said that he can maybe play as part of a 2. You've maybe seen something. Do you feel a wee bit better going into these matches domestically? We've got big games coming up. We've got a gap to close and a league to top.
Not massively, no. I still have faith that he can, if he's seen to best effect, if everything's made to suit him. But I don't, like, again, I just don't have the faith tomorrow. Like, if you could rely on Roof, I would rather have Roof playing. Honestly, I think Roof's got a better record in big games. But again, you can't rely on Kamar Roof, so I think Dessers will play, but I don't have much faith with either of them. Dessers a bit more because he's obviously done that. Dessers has shown us something. That's the difference. That's what I say the big difference between Dessers and Lammers is. Dessers has shown that there's a body of work in terms of some really nice finishes. I keep going back to the goal, the pass he played for Matondo against PSV. That's a top-class pass, and I don't think there's many players in the Rangers team that could do that. I think he does have a part to play. I think as part of a 2, and there's a couple of Dutch podcasters that I spoke to when Dessers and Lammers were coming in, and they said they have to play as a 2 together. That's the only way you'll get either of them out, the best out of either of them. And we've not seen it. We've seen Lammers play a bit behind, and Lammers goes far too deep. So he's going to have to play one up front now. But I just hope if Dessers is here for the long haul, whether it's Danilo or another poacher, put him, see Dessers and Shankland. I think that sort of partnership would actually work, because you've got a guy, Dessers could be that kind of player who holds the ball up, and Shankland could be the finisher. Mm-hmm. So you could see Dessers the best effect. I'm not massively confident going in with Dessers, no. That's the honest answer.
Colin, what about you? Cyril Dessers tomorrow. Is he scoring the winner?
Nah, I think time he gets his goal, mate, we'll already be 2-3 up.
You've obviously not seen any Rangers Cup final in the past 11 years.
Too many, mate, and I'm just blocking them all out. That's why I'm fucking grey, I tell you. Cyril Dessers, you know what? I think Scott's really touched on some really, really good points there, where he can play his part, he can have a role to play in certain scenarios, certain situations. Problem is, Rangers need to play a completely different style and a formation to help suit that, and we're not there yet. And Cyril Dessers isn't a good enough player to build your team around.
100%.
That's the thing. Long term, if we're chasing a goal, or if we need to just get the goal difference up, can he come on and play with a 2? Absolutely. But he's no worth changing the formation around the now. Having said that, I think you can see the confidence player. It doesn't surprise me that it was probably the smallest proportion of Rangers fans in a stadium for a long while where he's had his best game. You know, we've not been on his back, and I'm not gaslighting the Rangers fans or anything here, but I think when the pressure's off, and we were underdogs yesterday, he had a decent game. He got the accidental assist, but had a lovely goal. But other than that, I thought he played well. He got involved. He was a bit more energetic than what he did, so I'm not worried about the Mora. I don't know if he'll pop up with a goal or the winner Scott, but I don't think he'll be a man down the Mora, which he has been, because I think he's got to be riding the crest of a wave. Big question is on Lammers, but can I just say, back to Scott's point on pre-season, we were comparing Lammers to Ronald de Boer. Dutchman coming in with number 14. He's can hit with both pegs. Lammers still has all the qualities. He's got a beautiful touch. He can spread the ball lovely. His issue is he can't do it under pressure. That is the issue. That's why we hear, he does it in training. He'll do well in training. It's in an intense environment. He's not learned to do it. Yeah. It's kind of like, remember when Mr. Wu used to come on at Ibrox at half time and do all the keep-ups? Can he doubt the boy's technical ability? He couldn't do it in a game, but like I guarantee you, Mr. Wu can do it in a game.
Do you know the best description I've heard of Sam Lammers? He's a tall Brandon Barker.
Aye.
That's the best description I've heard of Sam Lammers, because it's true.
And every
Rangers player that was interviewed when Brandon Barker was there said, "Who's the best player in training?" Brandon Barker. Did we see it in a game? Nah.
And that's the point I'm making, Curry. You can, sorry, Scott, you can maybe pick out about 5 games if you're being generous, where Brandon Barker had some sort of input. Probably because we didn't use him right. We tried to put him as a first teamer, tried to get him in the formation.
Well.
Aye, exactly. We are stuck with Lammers. We need to try and get something out of him. I don't see him being best in a midfield 3. I don't see him best at the starting. But we're going to be paying his wages. We're going to need to use the squad. We need to work out how do we get something out of him.
Carry on to one of my last points before we do our predictions for the morrow. Right. Hampden Scott Wright's fit. Right. He's fit, ready to go apparently, according to come on at his presser. Does Ross McCausland deserve to be dropped for Scott Wright coming in?
Well, I've not swore too much, no bad, because I'm actually having a drink, as I said to you earlier on. This is the first proper drink I've had in about 5 years. Fuck no. No chance.
No.
The one thing that always stuck in my mind, and it was one of the best nights I've ever spent on the Gallant Few. In fact, I can't even remember if I was actually on it, but I was in the chat, and Big Davy P came out with the best line ever about Wright. Wright's always fit, but he's always shit. I don't know. He shows so much promise, but he never ever seems to do it when it matters. I think, in fact, I'm a liar. He did it at the Cup. When was it? 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Scottish Cup.
It was Scottish Cup. He did it, but he put him in games. I think he's better as an impact sub. He always has been. But we're hoping that Cantwell's going to be fit. I actually, as I said to you last night, mate, I actually have got absolutely no idea what our setup is going to be tomorrow. But I need to agree with both Scott. Lammers for me is that game. When I watched the game the other night, there, he's an empty jersey. That he only ever does anything if the ball comes to him. He doesn't make any effort to go towards the ball. I think he's so clumsy. As Scott said, he's like Brandon Barker. He's more like Bambi on ice with roller skates. He's like Said to Ted, except 10 times worse. I just the only person I don't want to see in that pitch, and I've had a few players that I've disliked over the course of the season and many seasons, as Colin will tell you, we fanboy.
Don't start. Don't you touch my tavernier. Don't you touch my tavernier.
But I think it's the only guy I don't want to see is Lammers. Everybody else I think could maybe contribute. They've come off a decent win. In the league,
Very good win.
No, Frankfurt were fucking pish, mate. They were absolutely rotten. I watched the game; they were rotten.
But still, for a Scottish club, it's a good victory. It's a good victory. It's a confidence-building one.
In the league, they've lost the last 5. They lost 3, drew 1, won 1. I think
they beat Bayern 5-1 last weekend, Corey, and then went to beat off Aberdeen.
Because they were knackered. Stop trying to fucking build them up. It's not going to work.
No, I'm not building
We're
up.
going,
I'm
we're
just
going to
saying
win. Scott's look, you're disgusted. Just shut up.
Right, so for you, McCausland's got to keep his place.
Aye, definitely, 100%.
Scott, what about you?
100%.
Right, I'm
Yeah,
McCausland
yeah.
tomorrow.
McCausland. Bring right on, as I say. Like that's kind of worked in the semi-final. I think bringing right on would be fine. McCausland, I think McCausland. Do you know what's really impressed with him about McCausland since he's come in? And just see if he loses the ball, he's so desperate to win it back, and I've not seen that for a Rangers winger in a long time. See even McCausland and Seaman on either wing against an Aberdeen side who are, in all seriousness, know the best in wide areas. I'm really excited about that prospect. I think those two wingers are nailed on, to be honest.
Scott, can I say, this is going to, I'll probably get a slap for this, and I'll get a lot of laughs in the chat. Dare I say a right-sided Ryan Kent?
He's a ball carrier.
Or should I say a potential Ryan Kent? Obviously, I hope he does a lot.
Ryan Kent.
Aye.
Better than Ryan
I
Kent.
hope,
Correct.
aye.
Already, he's
Yeah.
better than Ryan Kent.
No, I see that. I see that side of it. What also, I would say, with the big frustration I had with Ryan Kent is that Ryan Kent very rarely would win you a big game. Like, I think McCausland's got that ability, that mindset. Comes on against Limassol when Rangers were in the first 45 were an absolute embarrassment. That first half, the home game, and he comes on and completely changes Rangers' game, gets the goal. I like that kind of mindset. I like he's 20 years old. I would say a better version of Chris Burke, if that'll maybe sound a bit stupid, but what I mean by that is
That's a very good.
That's a decent point, mate. Aye, that's a good
Burke
point.
came in. Burke had a lot of people saying when he was coming through, right, this is the start of the future, and he would go off and on, but Burke would win. Burke occasionally would come up in a big game. McCausland's that kind of young Neil McCann. I see that as well. I think, and I keep coming back to Beale. How he thought that he could get through with no wide players is baffling to me. You need wide players on either side because that is the only way you open up low blocks. You can't open up low blocks for the middle. We've seen that today. Celtic, every single chance Celtic tried to create came from their wide players. That's why low block. That's what you do against low blocks. So I think McCausland is. I think he's for 20 years old. I think he's got a very, very good temperament and mindset. Now people said about Thursday night, he wasn't good tracking back. My argument to that is that the defender behind him wasn't good at defending. He shouldn't need to have that responsibility. Now I can see he's 20 years old, and Rangers' defence on Thursday night was caught open easily, several occasions. So I wouldn't put the blame. I wouldn't say McCausland was terrible because he wasn't tracking back. I would say it was more the defence behind him was atrocious. So it's a double-edged sword. But I've been really impressed with McCausland. But what's excited me more is that he's not one of those that if he loses the ball, he'll get into a strop. He'll always try and win it back. He's always trying to make things happen. That's what I want to see in a Rangers winger. And I think Seema's the same. I think Seema's work rate is amazing. I would buy him alone for that because I've not seen a player as willing, out of position as well. He's never played left wing in his life. To do what he's been doing in recent weeks, I think is remarkable. And I like the fact that Rangers have got a winger on either side who are both get good work ethic and can attack defenders. And that's what I want to see. That's what Rangers haven't had for a while.
Colin, you want to come in? See the other night, did you think Tav was at fault for a goal?
Tav takes the vast majority of the blame there because he's not helped with Goldson being pulled out of position. And you can see Tav, he's in two minds. Does he tuck in behind Goldson or does he stay with his man out in the wide right? He doesn't trust McCausland. Instead of doing one or the other, he's just caught in the middle and it's cut wide open. Tavernier, he has to be better than that and he has to make the decision quicker. And it's got to be a gamble, whatever decision he makes. but he has to make the decision. Just on McCausland, I'll maybe Will Tav takes most of the blame for it. I think McCausland does have to be a wee bit wiser in tracking back. And you mentioned the Ryan Kent comparison. What Ryan Kent done really well, even when that last season attacking, he was terrible. Off the ball and keeping the shape and supporting the fullbacks, Ryan Kent was tremendous at it for a winger. Obviously, that's only one part of the winger's role. We want him in the forward positions. We want him creating. We want him scoring. Ross McCausland has no issue doing that. He's got to develop that. That's his natural game. He has to learn very quickly how to keep shape, how to. And it's I take Scott's point when he loses the ball, he's tenacious. He's like a wee pit bull trying to get the ball back. But when the ball's the other side of the pitch, you can see switching off. And I don't want him to think I'm criticising him here. It's natural. He's gone from playing B team football to Europa League. Right, he's got to take a wee bit of adjusting. He has to adjust quickly because we're Rangers. We can't let somebody just switch off every game for the best part of a year. Incidentally, I've seen enough of him that I think he will learn this very, very quickly. But for me, he's a shoe-on starter tomorrow. I think it's good that we've got Scott Wright as an option, Matondo's an option. Even if Steamer has an off day and McCausland maybe it doesn't work out for him, we've got two solid options at Hampden.
Okay. Corey, McCausland or Wright?
Have you not already asked me that?
Have I?
Aye.
Well,
The last time, mate.
Right,
It's getting too late for you
Right.
because you're getting old, mate. I know it's late and that, and I know you need to have your nap time, buddy. Right? But I already said McCausland 100%. Right, next, go on, mate. Come on,
Right.
come on, keep it
So,
going.
Scott, on to you. Maura, just wrapping this up now. I want what this game means to Rangers, how big an impact it could have if we win or lose, a line-up and a score.
What it means to Rangers, I think it means. I go back. I was actually talking to my dad about this morning. Do you remember when Alec McLeish, when he went up against Celtic the first time he took over the 2-1 game, Cornerman scores the goal. That felt like a big moment of Rangers can beat Celtic. Rangers can go up against this Martin O'Neill side. I think this is similar in a different way. If Rangers can win tomorrow, it says to me that this Rangers team can win a trophy, can handle the big pressure, because they haven't. And even the 55 season, Rangers should have won a treble that season. This is a chance to win a treble. Don't win this, you don't win a treble. I would say that's the biggest game of this Rangers side. I'm thinking like the old guard, like Tavernier, Goldson, Barisic, throw Lundstrom into that as well, because the pressure is 100% on them. If they win today, it could set a marker of, we can go and win this league, we can go and compete in Europe, we can try and win a treble. You can't do that without winning tomorrow. And you know what Aberdeen are going to do. You know what Aberdeen are going to come out like. You need to operate better. You need to take your chances as well, because the two games Rangers have played against Aberdeen this season, Rangers have created so many chances and haven't taken them. You need to take your big chances. Line up Butland, Tav, Goldson, Balogun, Barisic, Lundstrom, Sterling, Seema, McCausland. I hope and pray Cantwell. If it's not Cantwell, it'll be Lammers and Dessers. And I'm going to go for 4-1 Rangers. Seema to score a double. McCausland and a Tavernier penalty, just for the fun of it, just because it'll annoy everybody.
Nice one. I'm going to put my bit in now, go to Colin, then I'll hand it back over to Curry to wrap up. So, Imora's the biggest game of our season so far. Need to win. It's non-negotiable. I'm quietly confident we're going to do that. I think it's going to be nervy though. I think this could be a start of something amazing if we win Imora. Line-up, I'm going to go for Butland, Tav, Goldson, Balogun, Ridvan, Lundstrom and Sterling, Cantwell, McCausland and Dessers. Then I'm going to go 2-1. I think Roof's going to come on and get the winner, or Scott Wright. potentially. I do think we're going to win, but I think it's going to be a pretty close match. Aberdeen seem to be a bit of a bogey team for us, so I'm hoping that Clermont's got them figured out after the draw at Pittodrie. I'm hoping that we've learned from it and we can kind of go with a clearer plan and know how to play against them. Colin, on to you, mate.
It's good seeing so many of the names pop up in the chat who follow the Rangers pod. So, like, I hope they'll probably testify to this. I'm usually fairly level-headed and I don't get too dramatic either way. But if Rangers don't win this final tomorrow, they won't win the league. The biggest thing about this is Rangers. This is a chance for Rangers to get on the winning mentality again. This is a question that they've had over their heads time and time again. I'm not going to do the stats. 2 trophies out of however many. We don't have a team of winners. If they want to change that, they need to go and win a cup. And if they don't win this cup tomorrow, I think they will implode. Incidentally, I think they're riding on the crest of a wave, and I think Clermont is a good man manager and they will harness that into tomorrow, and I think we will win. I'm going to go with 4-1, and I think there won't be too many changes, barring the necessities, because I think he's got to try and just keep that rhythm, that that feel good factor that we've got. So Butland and goals, back for Tav, Goldson, Balogun and Barisic, midfield of Sterling, Lundstrom, hopefully Campbell in front of them, and front three of Dessers, McCausland and Sima. And I think he'll go for I think he'll just try and channel the positivity for Thursday night. But if we don't, then I think we need to have a real look at where we are.
Okay, just a quick thanks to you two boys for coming on tonight. I know it's a Saturday night. It's absolutely brilliant. Way two have done for me if I started writing articles and letting me come on pods, etc. It's been absolutely amazing. It's a personal thanks to you. Corey, thank you for letting me host, and it's back to you, mate.
No bother, mate. It's brilliant. If you said 6 months ago that I'd be sat here doing something like this, I would have told you sharp, you're talking pish. I'm sitting in here tonight with Scott McPike, a guy that I've watched on many a pods on YouTube, and to have him on my wee pod is amazing. All I can say is thank you so much, mate.
Thanks, mate.
I'm
Pleasure.
really, I'm humbled, mate. And I know that you're probably not used to. You're obviously a bit more sophisticated and a little bit more posh than I am. Unfortunately, I swear too much.
It was the singing at the start that put me off guard, mate. I've never.
My voice is not that bad, but no, I had to. Listen, anytime I can get a chance to wind the bastards up, you better believe I'm going to take it, mate. I'm not going to miss that. Second, Colin, my sensei, shall I say? Thank you so much for popping up, mate. It's an absolute pleasure. It is good to see you again. I've missed you, and I've missed all the guys in the pod tremendously. You have been a big part of what I've been doing for the last, getting this ready for, as I said, the last 6 months. I've seen a couple of the lads in the chat as well. I've seen Big Bill, my brother in arms, and I even seen Davey T, which was brilliant as well. I am really humbled by everybody that comes into this pod. I've only just started that. I've done 2 wee silly live pods, and I managed to get over 100 subscriptions, which is absolutely fucking nuts. These are all mad. I think there's just something wrong with you, but thank you. I can't thank you enough. As always, I'm going to thank Cami and Aldo for doing what they do in the moderation. I'm too small to do, but I'm hoping to need you in the future, because I know that it's going to get pretty busy in here, and we're going to need to get rid of a few of the other mob. My main thing for this pod is to talk about the club that I love, get guys in like Scott, Scotty, and Colin, and talk about our team, and have a chat with you guys, because you are the exact same as us. We're no better or worse off than you are. We just love talking about our team, and that's all I want. And my main thing that I promised myself when I started this, that I was wanting to make money for charity. Now, once a day, as I keep on banging on it, I sound like I'm begging, but I'm no. I'm just, once I get to the position where I can make money on this, the money will be, the majority of the money that any make will be towards the pod team improving and to Timmy charity. And as I said, it'll be something that the chat will do. It's either a Rangers charity, Help for Heroes, a children's charity, or even an animal charity. But the people in the chat and the people that follow me, they'll be the ones that decide who that is. And as I said, I will be shaving my hair off. And I don't know if the guys are twice in a row wanted me to shave my boss. I'm like, no, it's not happening. It's
Charlie,
not happening.
every pod I've done with you, you've had a skip kettle. I didn't know you had any hair, mate. So that's fucking news to
Are
me.
you ready for the no? Are you ready for the review? I do actually have here. Hold on.
There we go, man. It's like Brad Pitt there.
Actually, I'm actually surprised. I'm actually surprised at this age, right enough. I thought I'd be well bald. I obviously thought I would be totally grey. I thought it'd be well, my big Timmy David T by now. But thanks everybody for coming. I've held you on here long night. Thank you so much. You stayed for around nearly 20 minutes. You're all bloody mad. And once again, thank you, Scotty, Scott, and Colin. Have a good night, guys. We are the people. Speak to you tomorrow. Good night.